Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the CGS channel, where today we're back ranking Terraria. Don't skip past this bit, as it's kinda important. If you remember, about a month ago I showed my future video plans, and my next Terraria music ranking was meant to be on the 1st of December, or in 2 weeks time, and today was meant to be an OST ranking from a different game, which by popular demand I chose to do Ultra Kill. But there was just one problem with that, and I'll replicate my reaction to when I saw how many songs there were. I really hope there's no more than 20 songs, as I can't make this 2 parts. Please be like 15 or something. Oh. Yeah, so if I ranked them all and still wanted to upload every week, I'd have to do it in like 5 separate parts, and those videos would be very separated in time. Also thought about doing another game's OST, which I was planning on ranking soon anyways, which I won't spoil, but that would be better in 2 parts, as trying to fit it all into one video would be a bit of a risk. So in 2 weeks time, I want to rank Ultra Kill, but I need your help. As there are 62 tracks, I could rank 12 or 13 OSTs across 5 episodes and take the 2 best tracks from each video to create a top 10 finale list. However, if these tracks fit into different categories, or some of these are part of different areas of the game, then I could do it differently, but let me know in the comments what I should do and how you'd like to see me structure it out ranking these tracks. So here is the tier list and the tracks that we're going to be ranking today. As you can see, we've got the 4 Hunt of the Old God tracks, as well as the Wrath of the Gods track of Twisted Garden, which has been highly requested by you guys. And to finish off the first tier list that I've actually made myself, we've got Forged Innocence by Pinpin Neon, which Pinpin actually commented on my last music ranking to react to, so that's why it's on the list. And finally, these tiers are quite boring, so let's change them to...
It's the biggest piece of...
I mean, it's alright.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Oh, let's go, that's class!
It was perfect. Perfect.
And finally, as usual for S+ tier, we have got...
The GOAT!
So let's start this tier list off with Glutinous Arbitration, theme of Gumza Phase 1 by the Exiled Fellow. Let's go. Very upbeat, hopeful opening with the higher notes. Oh, it's so good to be back reacting to music. Bells! I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of the distorted keys to end the segment there, but at least it was only 2 notes before the primary layers came to a rest, or for a more technological term, tacit, which comes from the Latin word for silent. I must admit, I do love the colourful background of the decrescendo in that. Just subtly adds an extra layer really nicely without it being too overpowering on your ears. Wow, this is very unique to anything I've reacted to on this channel before. I would say it's got a kind of beachy holiday vibe to it. It's so strange where it goes so high pitched and gets singled out as all the other musical textures gets delayered for the transition. Okay, we enter a new section of the song here, and I already love the higher BPM but the lower notes on the piano, again giving off a beachy sunset vibe. But I don't think that's what the song is trying to do. Oh, okay, now we are cooking. That was a good use of the higher piano notes there, which I believe is a C7 note, which helps give off a elegant sensation, which I also believe probably helped with the beachy holiday vibes I got earlier, but again, it's quite contradicting to the actual events that are happening in-game. You already know I've got to mention about how glorious the bells are here. It just adds such a royal and empowering texture so simply, where it also leaves a lot of room for the Exiled Fellow to make other textures work their magic. And now we're brought back to the kind of chorus, which I must admit is not my favourite part of the song, even if it does suit the boss fight the best. In conclusion, there were some really good moments in there, with the obvious one being the bells, but also the smooth yet captivating use of the higher piano notes during the slower melody sections. However, it didn't really fit into the song's theme in my opinion. Where this did fit the song's theme was unfortunately in the part that I didn't like as much. You saw me wince earlier at the distorted section, which just didn't really sit right with my ears. I also believe that this track used a little bit too much piano, and I think it would have been better to break it up with some other instruments, such as a snare drum, particularly in the chorus section. However, these are mostly just personal nitpicks, and it's still a pretty good song, so it's going to go into B tier. Just probably low B tier. Now let's move on to the second track of this video and the second phase of the Guzma's theme, Viscous Desperation, still by the Exiled Fellow. Let's go. Instantly, the uneven notes gives a alarming and disorientating feeling to the player, as if this battle's about to get real. Oh my, whoa. Okay, sorry for pausing it again, but I just got hit with the game over sound. That is brilliant. It's literally Gumza telling you that, right, this is your demise. This is already so much better than phase 1. What the hell? Oh my god. On a serious note though, what was that? There was even a Super Mario Kart Donut Plains whistle in there. This goes unironically hard and I have no idea why. I think it's probably because of how sharp the notes are with the transposition of the background texture, which if you don't know just basically means increasing pitch. And this here feels very retro but full of energy, which is great and so much more fitting for a boss like this. Say it with me. Burn! Burn! Wow, first of all, shout out to the editing. Second of all, this feels very ear with the long dragged out cadence chord. Yes! The transition back to the chorus was amazing. Oh, I love that bit so much, it's so goofy. In conclusion, I think this theme fitted the battle against Gumza much better than phase 1 did. At times, there were a lot of textures which felt a little bit messy, however it was only temporary so it's okay. The bridge transitions between the verses and chorus was goofy yet charismatic, and overall this track felt very ruthless, which is a great impression for a boss fight like Gumza, and it was class, so it's going to place into A tier, just missing out on S tier as it wasn't quite perfect. The next track we're going to be listening to is called Iridescence, theme of Gumza's Auric Soul, and this one is by Moonburn. Let's go. Oh wow, this sounds like it's going to be very different to the previous 2 tracks we've just listened to, as this so far has super long and slow notes which gives an emotional, heartfelt feeling to it. And here it's got a kind of westerny cowboy vibe. Actually, it sounds like a classical instrument you'll get from Eastern Asia like Japan or Korea or somewhere around that area. Actually, let's go back and listen to it. It sounds like a slightly reverbed shamisen or maybe koto. I don't know, I'm not too knowledgeable in that area, but that would be my educated guess. I love that simple yet effective use of the diminuendo on the piano there, something that's used quite commonly in lullabies, which are predominantly made to help relax you and put you at ease, and this is exactly what this is doing too. Overall, it's got a very simple melody and only half a dozen-ish notes, so there's not really too much to dissect in this piece. However, I did just do some research on the song, and it says on the wiki, it's a track that plays alongside ambient noises, which makes sense to give it a bit more of an atmosphere to the track, as it causes the slime monsoon to perpetuate. Whatever that means. Anyway, it's very simple, so it can never reach you top tiers on this list, but for what it is and for what it stands for, it's alright. C tier. And now that we are halfway through these tracks, I think now would be a good time to do comment of the week. And for this week, it goes to ItchyWeen445, who says, whenever CJS posts, I start rubbing my pipe. This wins comment of the week, but it also wins probably the weirdest comment I've ever had. But it made me laugh. I don't really know what to say for this comment. Do I say thank you? I don't know. But either way, if you want to have a chance to win Comment of the Week next week, all you have to do is subscribe and comment down below. Now, let's move on to the next track, Incandescence. This track is also by Moonburn, and it has very similar theming to the previous one we've just listened to, so I'm expecting another chilled out track, but let's see. Yeah, so far it's very similar again with those classical Eastern Asia instruments. Okay, now we're talking. I felt my soul there elevate with the melody. Yeah, it's just so holy. It's obviously going for that classical sentiment, kind of like a church hymn, and it's only exaggerated with the subtle choir, giving a feeling of peace and elation. In conclusion, it was very similar to Iridescence, but just had a tiny bit more spice to it with the chord progression, so it's going to slide in just above that into high C tier. The penultimate track on this list is also my most requested one. Twisted Garden, Nameless Deity, made by Enway, featuring Heart Plus Up. And for this video, there is an epilepsy warning, so it'd only be fair for me to give one too. So there is a time on screen now which you can skip to, and there'll be no more flashing lights after that. Anyways, here we go. Wow, okay, what an opening. Okay, so here it uses a heavily synthesized piano. I think a supersaw synth actually, with a pretty dramatic decline in the chords to create what is called a pitch bend, which is also used in music tracks such as Theme by Travis Scott. But this is so dramatic, I'm very impressed so far. Oh, it's building up. Oh, I think here's a Antarctic reinforcement motif, maybe? This is very cleverly composed, as obviously there's so much going on in my ears right now with so many different textures, which can be a bad thing. I remember from the Duke Fishstrong theme from the Inferno mod, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that video, you can watch by just clicking the card appearing on screen now just up here. But that theme had a lot of layers. That was a little messy to the point where it was kind of overwhelming, to the point where you weren't able to enjoy the individual textures and instruments as they all just kind of meshed into one. Here, however, it's done so well where obviously it's very dramatic and hardcore, but all three layers, you can pick them apart and enjoy each one individually, or in this way they all come together and work in harmony. Oh wait, there's lyrics? I did not know this. You'll never be the same again. Right? Good. Oh my god! On a serious note though, these merciless one-liners are absolutely insane. I know I'm not really talking about the actual music right now, but I'm just dumbfounded. The use of accelerando as well as diminution to bring a sense of urgency and intimidation for the bridge was mesmerising. It really captivated me and kept me on the edge of my seat. But not off it this time. There is so much going on in this track, I could honestly talk about it for hours, but obviously I can't for the video's sake. But for what
I promise, like,
but one thing I can tell you is that so much effort and passion has gone into this. It's constantly bombarding you with different sections and forms. It's incredible. Okay, I will say this is my least favourite section, as it's starting to push the boundaries of having too many layers, and I'm not a huge fan of the vocals being synthesised in this way. However, saying that, I do believe that this does fit the boss very well, with the black square hiding its face to create mystery, but also to tell you how this godlike creature has a power beyond comprehension. This is the last song on the planet I would ever expect for there to be a slow, almost melancholic piano section. There's definitely an Antarctic reinforcement motif there, I'm sure of it. Yes! Yes, I knew there was an Antarctic reinforcement motif there. Ah! I'm so proud of myself for that. No, that actually proper scared me. Wow though, 7 minutes and 17 seconds of pure carnage. My mind just wasn't blown, but it was scalded open and incinerated. That last couple minutes before I got jump scared, I didn't really say too much as it was all repeated stuff, but I was just smiling the whole time and I really felt like I connected with the chaos. I don't even know where to begin to try and conclude this, so I'm just not going to bother, as it is criminal the fact that I have not put this into S tier yet. N-Way and Heart Plus up. I don't know if either of you are going to see this, but if you are, take a bow, as this was simply perplexingly unreal. And the final track on this list that we're going to be listening to is the newest track from Pin Neon, Forged Innocence. I'm really looking forward to this, as this was specifically requested by Pin Neon themselves for me to listen and react to. I'm really curious if we're going to see those classic Pin Neon techniques that we saw during the Inferno tracks, such as the chord progression, or structuring it more like a traditional song, where you've got the verses as the slower parts with less musical textures. But a secondary role of these breaks is to build and hype you up before the chorus again before it goes full force at you. But I would assume that this track is more like Storm Before Dawn, which doesn't follow that traditional layout, which I put as GOAT for my Inferno track, so I'm very excited for this. Anyways, enough yapping, let's go. Oh wow, very holy start. Of course Sky After Rain is mentioned. I love how Pin mentions their other tracks in the lyrics. In this world that's being lit ablaze. I think my headphones are going to be lit ablaze with how fire this track is. Oh, I'm so sorry, that was terrible. The pitch shifting is done so beautifully here. It's got such an enlightening melody. Pin, you're very clever with your lyrics, I'll give you that. Yes! Amazing motif from Sky After Rain, I loved that. What language is this? Isn't it one of those languages in Thailand, like Siamese or Lao or something? I'm probably wrong, but if anyone knows in the comments, please let me know down below. See? This is what I'm talking about. Scars of Calamity, another one of Pin's tracks. What's going on? Soar Towards Tomorrow? Oh, the singing is just gorgeous. Storm Before Dawn, Sky After Rain, Pin, you're showing off. You've got too many great tracks. That bridge just captured the essence of the sun with such harmonic yet heroic augmentation of the notes. That was so beautiful. These lyrics are genuinely so inspirational, and with the subtle piano in the background, it just comes together to create almost an anthem that I'll totally want to listen to before going into a grand adventure or battle. And also, this solo is incredible. Another incredible Pin Neon track. The lyrics are so carefully thought out with callbacks to previous tracks, as well as just how breathtakingly inspirational they were. The motifs were implemented beautifully, the melody was consistently heavenly. It's another easy S tier. So that completes the list. Almost, as we still got to decide out of Twisted Garden and Forged Innocence, which is the GOAT of this tier list. And I can already tell you, it's going to be very hard to decide, as both of these tracks are amazing, but for completely different reasons. But after some thought and consideration, I'm giving the GOAT to Twisted Garden, Nameless Deity. The one-liners in that very much intimidated me, and I'm not even fighting it. I love the clever implementation of diminution and how there's always something going on, as it was constantly switching it up for example from hardcore metal to a slow and calm piano, before pulling you back right into the battle with such a dramatic twist. As I said earlier, it kept me on the edge of my seat. Well, one time off it. A close second place goes to some Forged Innocence. I personally prefer Storm Before Dawn, but if I had to choose between that and Twisted Garden, I wouldn't know. However, in the future, I will have to decide, as I will be doing a ranking of all the GOATs from previous music videos, so subscribe because you won't want to miss that. So here is my final list. Just a reminder that this was my first time listening to these tracks, and music is subjective, so if my opinion is different to yours, that is okay, just please don't kill me in the comments. Thank you. I have loved being back and ranking music. Hopefully we can come up with a solution as to what to do with the Ultra Kill track, so hopefully I can start ranking that in a fortnight's time. But in the meantime, we've got 2 more Calamity playthrough videos to go through, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I'll see you for next week for that. But in the meantime, good night. To the CGS channel, where today we're back ranking Terraria. I think that might be an outtake moment.